Hello viewers, this is Paladin of Odin, and this is some more Magic the Gathering Online. This is another episode of the Standard Commentary Series, and it looks like we've got Orzhov Control versus Blue-White Spirits. Control is trying to kill a Rattle Chains with a Grasp of Darkness, but unfortunately the Spirits deck had another Rattle Chains in his deck, so he just flashed that into play. He'll give it Hexproof, and the Grasp of Darkness will be fizzled. Unless, of course, Orzhov has another... Okay, never mind. I was going to say has another response before the ability resolves, but doesn't look like it. Okay. Well, either way, he had another Grasp of Darkness, so either way, he was going to kill a Rattle Chains, so the end effect was basically the same whether he had responded to the second Rattle Chains or not. And Chains goes in for 2. Orzhov is down to 16. And Read the Bones. That'll take him down to 14, but he's pretty low on cards, so he pretty much needs this Read the Bones to stay competitive at the moment. Because against a deck like Spirits, it's not going to take a whole lot for Spirits to get a little nuts. And end of turn, Bygone Bishop, thanks to the Rattle Chains, all of his Spirits have Flash. So he doesn't even need to play his creatures on his own turn. He can just wait until the end of turn, giving him the maximum protection possible because Orzhov will have the least amount of time to react. And it'll mean that he would have to do it on his own turn. So, for example, at the end of turn, Bygone Bishop gets into play, and he wants it dead. He has to spend his mana on his turn instead of typically, doing it on his opponent's turn, meaning that he has less chance to respond. So 4 damage from the Flyers, another Read the Bones, and he's down to 8. And ultimate price on Bygone Bishop. Does Blue-White have a response? He is playing blue, so he could throw down a counterspell here, and it was a negate. I was going to say, he has access to all the counterspells because of his blue. Another Bygone Bishop, and that'll get him a clue token. He could have played another Rattle Chains, for example. And that's 6 damage, so Orzhov has to have a board clear here. Luckily for him, he's running black and white, so he has every permanent board clear imaginable. Languish, Planar Outburst. Languish should be good enough. The only problem is that Blue-White does have all of his mana up and 2 cards in hand. So, another negate would pretty much end this game. And it doesn't look like he had a board clear to even try, so he concedes. Well, let's move on to game 2. It looks like Spirits was just a little too fast for Orzhov this time. He ran out of answers pretty quickly. Alright, a turn 3 Bygone Bishop from Spirits, and a Battlefield Forge from Orzhov's side makes me think that he might not be playing Orzhov. He might be playing Mardu. Either that, or it's possible that he has a sideboard set up for a red splash, because they have some very efficient creature killers in red against mob decks like Spirits or White Weenie or early game Bant or early game green-white tokens, Kozilek's Return, or even better, Radiant Flames, since he would have 3 colors. He'd pretty much be guaranteed to kill any spirit that the blue-white deck would want to play. So Dimensional Infiltrator, Flash, pops the spirit, or the clue token, excuse me. But so far, we'll still call him Orzhov for now. So far, he hasn't played anything. He could be waiting for the most impact. A second Bygone Bishop. That's 3 creatures. Unfortunately, he still has 2 mana open. And we know that he's running Negate, at the very least. Something else I just thought of is... Oh, alright, Languish from Orzhov. We'll see if blue-white... Yep, he's got a Negate. Something else I was thinking of was possibly, for colorless mana. I don't know exactly what he would need colorless mana for. I mean, there are some options. A Reality Smasher is a nice creature for pretty cheap, but you have to have a colorless mana to play it. Attacking all in from spirits takes Orzhov down to 7. And he pretty much has to be able to stick a board clear here, or at least kill one of these creatures. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6 mana. Thought-Knot Seer. Okay. Well, there's a colorless mana requirement. Problem is that all these spirits have flying. And I know Dimensional Infiltrator isn't a spirit creature type, but it's effectively a spirit for this deck. It's a small flyer. So Thought-Knot Seer, Stasis Snare. So spirits will get to draw a card, and then Orzhov will get to remove a card. And that's the problem. If blue-white has another Dimensional Infiltrator or a Rattlechains, this game is over. Alright, there's the Rattlechains. You know what? Not quite over. Theoretically, Orzhov could have something like an ultimate price in his hand that he could kill one of these creatures with, and blue-white is tapped out, so he can't stop him this time. And dead weight. Alright, so that kills off the Dimensional Infiltrator. Leaves him with 6 power worth of creatures, which just barely isn't enough. So Orzhov will live for one more turn, and this time he has to have a board clear a board clear and a way to make it stick. Oh, he's playing Read the Bones to kill himself. Alright. Well, that's unfortunate for Orzhov. It just looks like, Orzhov has a lot of options for creature kill, but the problem that he was running into was not having enough of those answers to deal with those creatures on an individual basis. As we saw, the blue-white deck always held on to his counterspells for the instances of the board clears, like Languish. We only saw Languish from him, but I'm pretty sure he's playing more than just Languish. But, solid tactic from blue-white. The limitations of your deck, and one of them is board clear, so if you can hold on to a counterspell waiting for that, then you pretty much have an opening. It really sucks because you have to wait for the board clear, and theoretically he could be picking off your creatures one by one. Dead weight, ultimate price, Declaration in Stone, Silk Wrap, Stasis Snare, all those one shots that are pretty cheap that surprisingly we didn't see very many of. But I've rambled on for long enough. That was Orzhov Control versus Blue-White Spirits, and if you liked what you saw, hit that like and subscribe button for me, and I'll see you in the next video.